Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. I have a dream that my for little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. The ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty by the bad people, but the silence over that by the good people. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. He who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetrate it. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. I look to a day when people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. If a man has not discovered something that he will die for, he isn't fit to live. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Nothing in all the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Our scientific power has outrun our spiritual power. We have guided missiles and misguided men. We are not makers of history. We are made by history. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. The time is always right to do what is right. A genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Everything that we see is a shadow cast by that which we do not see. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Never forget that everything Hitler did in Germany was legal. There can be no deep disappointment where there is not deep love. We must build dikes of courage to hold back the flood of fear. A lie cannot live. Never succumb to the temptation of bitterness. Human salvation lies in the hands of the creatively maladjusted. To other countries I may go as a tourist, but to India I come as a pilgrim. Peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but a means by which we arrive at that goal. The quality, not the longevity, of one's life is what is important. Seeing is not always believing. One of the greatest casualties of the war in Vietnam is the Great Society, shot down on the battlefield of Vietnam. The art of acceptance is the art of making someone who has just done you a small favor wish that he might have done you a greater one. Means we use must be as pure as the ends we see. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. We must concentrate not merely on the negative expulsion of war, but the positive affirmation of peace. The Negro needs the white man to free him from his fears. The white man needs the Negro to free him from his guilt. Don't let anybody make you think God chose America as his divine, messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. The principle of self-defense, even involving weapons and bloodshed, has never been condemned, even by Gandhi. There is nothing more tragic than to find an individual bogged down in the length of life, devoid of breadth. The moral arc of the universe bends at the elbow of justice. Almost always the creative, dedicated minority has made the world better. I want to be the white man's brother, not his brother-in-law. At the center of nonviolence stands the principle of love. It is not enough to say we must not wage war. It is necessary to love peace and sacrifice for it. A right delayed is a right denied. The hope of a secure and livable world lies with disciplined nonconformists who are dedicated to justice, peace, and brotherhood. The question is not whether we will be extremists, but what kind of extremists we will be. The nation and the world are in dire need of creative extremists. Wars are poor chisels for carving out peaceful tomorrows. All progress is precarious, and the solution of one problem brings us face to face with another problem. The sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. When you are right, you cannot be too radical. When you are wrong, you cannot be too conservative. War is a poor chisel to carve out tomorrow. A nation or civilization that continues to produce soft-minded men purchases its own spiritual death on the installment plan. Oppressed people cannot remain oppressed forever. The yearning for freedom eventually manifests itself. We must use time creatively. The past is prophetic in that it asserts loudly that wars are poor chisels for carving out peaceful tomorrows.